What is up, Loudmouth Sports Talk, Loudmouth Sports Group? It is Sean and Luke with Loudmouth Off the Top Rope. We have a lot to discuss here today. First and foremost, go to bombshellbowling.com/Loudmouth Sports Talk. Get your t-shirts today, $20. We got our gray tees, our muscle white tees, our women's muscle tees, $20. Bombshellbowling.com/Loudmouth Sports Talk. Miss Michelle is best. She'll take care of you when you get that in there. Justin David, what's up, brother? We see you already watching the show.
Jay, what's up, brother?
So first off, we were going to have an actual interview this evening with the Black Sheep, Cody McMullen. Unfortunately, some things didn't work out, miscommunication. He is unable to join us tonight. We do have a special guest coming on the show. That's a little bit later on in the show, but he will be on later tonight. Going right into it, there's a lot to talk about this week in wrestling. A lot's going on. A lot of angles have changed. I mean, we're talking from the Karrion Kross angle to Bray Wyatt's angle with Alexa Bliss. I mean, we're getting it. It's really getting heated up towards the end of the year. Royal Rumble's is right around the corner. SummerSlam is here. Major shows are coming up. Major angles are going to be brought out. Randy Orton with his great promo work on Raw this past week. Mm-hmm. Excellent promo work on Raw with Drew McIntyre. I mean, it is something else. But first and foremost, I'm going to turn it over to Luch. He's going to give you the wins and losses this week between Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW. Luch, take it over, brother.
All right. So on Raw, we start with Randy cutting his amazing promo. Then Nia comes out and pretty much says the same thing Randy does in a way that she's here to take over the division again. Then we had the Viking Raiders versus Ricochet and Alexander versus Andrade and Angel Garza. The winner gets a shot at the tag team titles. And believe Andrade won. Andrade and Angel Garza won that one. Then we go to Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. They both got counted out. Seth comes down, talks about Ray and Dominic. Then Dominic comes down, and before they can, I guess, take Dominic's eye out, Black comes out to save the day, and they take Black's eye. I don't know if they took it out, but they did the same thing to Black that they did to Ray.
Yeah, which I'm thinking apparently he's gonna have a gimmick change. A gimmick change coming, which I don't agree with, but I mean,
no, I don't. I feel like at first this thing with Ray would have been good, but they dragged it out with him too long. Then we had the VIP lounge with Mufasa Ali. Then we had Ali versus Lashley. Lashley wins. Sasha versus Asuka for the women's title match. Bayley attacks Io.
Sure.
And Sasha, she gets Asuka runs out the ring to go help her and gets counted out, and Sasha wins. So 2 belt banks we got. Then we got Murphy versus Humberto, and Murphy wins. To be honest, I'm tired of seeing this match. I'm tired of seeing Murphy versus Black, Murphy versus Humberto. It's the same stuff week in and week out. Then we had Drew versus Dolph with the special stipulation would be Extreme Rules for both of them. He still gave Dolph the advantage of having all of this. And Drew wins, but Randy attacks him at the end. And that was Raw. We're going to go on to AEW. So we had Inner Circle versus Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, which is also with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They were called like the Best Friends or something like that. And they end up winning.
It was a great match. It was a great match, by the way. It was a great match. It was a great match.
Yeah. Then we had Warhorse versus Cody Rhodes, TNT Championship. Cody wins. Dark Order then comes out. And then we have Matt Cardona making his debut in AEW. marked out. Marked out. Only way to wear the shirt is to cut off.
That is true.
But like Warhorse, I really didn't know too much about him before. Never really even heard of him.
I checked out a couple of
bad.
No, I checked out a couple of his promos. What I do like about him is he's that old school time wrestler with the old Warhorse, like the old paint on his face and stuff like that. So I do like that. I hope they do sign him. I think he'd be a great talent, just like Eddie Kingston was a great talent. And thank God.
Then we had Stu Grayson and Evil Uno versus Pac-Man and Omega for the tag team titles. And obviously Pac-Man and Omega are still champion. I don't see that.
I don't know when they're going to
losing it anytime soon. But I'm hoping it is.
The slow burn of the turn of Omega is just going on too long. They need to just do the turn and call it a day.
I'm liking it a little bit. I'm liking the slow boil of it. Then we have Hikaru Shirai versus actually I missed who she versed, but Hikaru won. And then MJF cut one of the best promos in professional wrestling today. I loved it. It was a presidential speech. It was just like perfect. And
MJF in general is just his promo work is amazing. But the biggest part is he backs it up in the ring.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing.
He's good on the mic. You know, I mean, I'm gonna take a long shot and say this. He might be today's Rick if he keeps it up.
If he keeps it up.
If he keeps it up, he could be today's Ric Flair.
But Ric Flair character-wise, I'm not too sure about like overall, like in ring but performance-wise and promos and getting people to hate you.
Oh yeah.
Definitely Ric Flair. Definitely a Ric Flair.
Then we have Moxley and Darby Allin versus Cage and Ricky Starks. Did you see this match?
Oh my God, I did. Okay. Oh my God.
Did you see that skateboard trick at the end, dude?
Listen,
I even like, I was like tight my back up. I was like, my God.
Listen, I couldn't even imagine. First off, you're getting a skateboard to the back.
That hurts in general.
That hurts in general. But it has thumbtacks. Those thumbtacks went deep into him.
And listen, if you watch the replay, he didn't just like hit him. It hit and he scraped the board off of him, which them thumbtacks going in and ripping your like. I was like, when he brought it out, I was like, okay, there's a skateboard. But then
thumbtacks.
Yeah, JR was like, God, there's thumbtacks. And I was like, holy shit. That was amazing. That match was also good. And it was a tornado tag, which haven't seen in a while. I was very happy to see that.
And next week we get to see Darby Allin versus Moxley for the title.
I pray to.
Here's my money. Take my money.
I pray Darby gets like so close. It's not going to happen. We all know it. But I would love to see Darby as champion.
I would love to see it as a match. It's just not a normal match. I want to see it as a all-out war with these two. Those two have it in them. He has it in him, and that's what Moxley pointing to him and shaking his head and giving him that like, "You got it, kid," kind of thing.
Then we're gonna go to NXT. We have Io Shirai comes out and Dakota Kai attacks her. Then Tegan Nox comes out to attack her, and then Candice LeRae. It was just a big fight.
I'm not liking. I love the women division in NXT, but they're just not using them to the best of their potential. They're just. I mean, it's like watching the Divas division all over again in WWE, and I can't stand it. I mean, they're not divas. But the way they're wrestling, the way it's all not like smooth flowing, as you could say.
Yeah,
like it's just not. They're not clicking. Their chemistry is off.
I just think that, to be honest, I think NXT part of it is kind of thrown together.
I think they're trying to
Very
do a
close
bell to bell.
last minute,
Yeah.
and they just throw stuff together, and there's matches on this card. We'll get to that are really good, but I do agree that their women division that they need to do more for, because all these women have tremendous talent
Excellent
and deserve to put it out there for everybody to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that goes into Tegan Nox and Io versus Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai. Tegan Nox and Io win.
Yeah.
And then we go to Gargano versus Strong. This match.
Oh.
That's a wrestling match. Hey, you have Johnny Gargano. Anytime Johnny Gargano's in the ring, it's guaranteed to be a
wrestling
match. Like a good match.
And by the way, we do got our co-owner of Loudmouth Sports, Court Dog, on with us.
Hey, man. Hey, what's up, guys? So, real quick, if we haven't, shout out to Bombshell Bowling. Miss Michelle has done a great job with all of our apparel. Go to Loudmouth Sports Talk. Go to bombshellbowling.com/Loudmouth Sports Talk. Hey, so I'm previewing our hoodie ideas. These are going to be the demos. They're going to drop pre-order August 17th, that Monday. $40 for sizes small through 2X, $45 for 3X and 4X and 5X. So we appreciate Miss Michelle. This is the logo. This is going to be the new hoodie. It's very lightweight material. So again, shout out to Bombshell Bowling. You guys got a good show. I want to talk about something, man. Please bring this one because I had to come in and join just for this.
All right. I mean, we do got a little bit more recap, but I'll
be watching.
Yeah. We'll bring you back for that one. We'll bring you back as soon as our recap's over. We got like another 10 minutes of recap.
Yeah, just kick me.
All right, then we had where did I leave off? Okay, Gargano versus Strong. Gargano wins.
Yes.
Shotzi versus Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes wins. This woman has potential.
Oh yeah.
This is the next big woman in WWE.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean big is in like the name like Charlotte. I mean just big, strong woman. That's something WWE needs. Nia Jax was supposed to be that, but it is not living up to that.
Yeah, I don't
not.
And Nia Jax has the talent. The family lineage. The lineage
strength to hurt every opponent you get in the ring with.
Yeah.
Is pointless.
I think she doesn't know her own strength, which is scary. And the lineage that she comes from.
Samoan.
She's a Samoan. I mean, she's The Rock's cousin. I mean, she's Afa and Sika's like that. She's like the cousin of them, which they in their day, they only fought stiff. So I can understand why Nia is like that, but I don't think she understands her own strength with some of these women that she gets in the ring with. You know, when she gets in the ring, she's not getting than her. Right. She's not getting in with like a Charlotte Flair or a Becky Lynch or something like that. Like those women could take it. Like these other women, like they can't take that much of a punishment.
And so Mercedes wins that one. Then we go into Lee comes out to cut a promo. Then Grimes comes out and then he gets beat up. And then Cross's girl comes out. What's her name?
Scarlett.
Scarlett comes out and dumps the thing saying time's up. You know, tick-tock, it's over. As she walks away, Cross comes on the big screen and pretty much says like tick-tock, like your time's coming.
He said he wants his match.
Yeah,
he challenged him, or if he doesn't give him his match, people will get hurt. More people will suffer.
Lee did say, pick the time, the stipulation, whatever you want. I'll be there. I don't think that they're going to give the title to Cross.
Not yet. Not yet.
We'll talk more about why. Imperium versus Everrise. Very good tag team. Very good. Yeah. Then we have that Swerve Scott guy versus Jake Atlas. Swerve wins. To be honest, he does nothing for me. Me personally, I know a lot of people that like him, Swerve, but he just doesn't do it's like a modern day Kofi in my
Yeah,
how I
he's
look
not-
at it.
yeah, he's nothing special really there.
Then we had Loomis versus Finn versus Thatcher, which you put them three in a ring together, take my money, I'm there.
Yeah,
This match for it being
unreal.
a triple threat, I'm not normally a fan of a triple threat. Very good match. It kept your attention. It wasn't too much going on, which I liked. It was the speed. It went up. It went down. It was a perfect way of going. And I just think that altogether, that might be the best match of the week
Yes.
of wrestling, in my opinion.
Yeah, that triple threat, I watched it. I watched it twice actually, and the storytelling in that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Loomis, that is a dude to watch out for.
Oh, he's coming.
He's coming.
Main roster very soon.
Main roster very soon. I think he would be a great fit to go against like a Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton type caliber matches. Give him a little bit of time. But you start him off like a Baron Corbin or a Sheamus.
Yeah, but I do feel like the gimmick isn't going to last on the main roster.
No, I think Vince will change that gimmick really quick, really
fast.
I
understand he's done it in NXT, he's done it in the Indies, and to bring it from the Indies to NXT, that's big enough right there for them to say you can continue that gimmick in WWE. That's big, but at the same time, it's not going to work on them. In my opinion, it might. It might. So it might, but
it might.
It doesn't.
People are loving it. People are loving the gimmick. So
yeah, I like him as a person, as a wrestler. He's grade A, but the gimmick to me, I just can't get behind.
Right.
Then going to SmackDown, starts with the Firefly Funhouse. I'm here. He's here, and he's coming. And it's kind of funny. It was like he walked in. He kind of felt like water was in his shoes. They had like fake algae all over.
It was hilarious. That was
like
great.
He came from the swamp look, and he even said, "I came from the swamp looking for Braun."
Oh, it's hilarious. Listen, his Firefly Funhouse. Firefly Funhouse is the funniest thing I've ever watched. Like it is so
funny,
so entertaining.
Be like it could be funny 1 minute, and then and my favorite thing is like when he goes like this, and then bye, and then he gets I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Then we had AJ Styles versus Grab Metallic.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good match.
It was.
I thought it was pretty good, but I think AJ carried him most of that match.
Yeah. But AJ is a vet. That's kind of what it's not what you expect, but anytime AJ can make almost anyone look good in the ring.
Yeah.
Like he's phenomenal.
He is a phenomenal one.
Then we had Hardy comes out to cut promo. As he's talking, Corbin comes out, calling him the same stuff that pretty much Sheamus had.
And it's so stupid.
They need to stop. Listen, it's either tell Hardy to bring a new gimmick in with Willow or whatever, or just keep putting him in matches and stop this whole you're an alcoholic, you're a junkie, because to be honest, no one's enjoying it.
I thought Willow was coming because in the bar fight when he pulled that bag off him, he had the Willow eyes. So I thought Willow was coming, and now it's just Jeff Hardy. I'm like, here we go again.
So yeah. And then Drew Gulak comes down as he's walking to the ring and attacks him, which leads to Corbin versus Drew Gulak. Matt comes out, a little distraction, but Corbin wins. Then Matt comes and attacks him, and then Shorty G cashes in on the King's head hunt or whatever they're calling it. Shorty G cashes in. I don't know how I feel about.
I'm never going to call him Shorty G. He's Chad Gable to me. I think it's the dumbest gimmick ever that Vince. I think it's a very ignorant gimmick as well.
As a short guy, I'm all for it. Like
Yeah.
I'm liking it,
but
but
at the same time,
anywhere.
he's so talented, and they're making him a joke, which that's where I get like a little bit frustrated because he's such a talent, but you're gonna like
that
hit him up on his
on Matt
was
phenomenal. And you put Shorty G versus Matt, I'm sitting down. You got me in front of that TV.
Take my money.
Take it. And then we have Big E versus The Miz. Big E wins by submission, which was I never seen.
That's
Big
a first,
really,
yeah. What submission move did he? What submission did he use?
I believe it was like the calf crusher, where like you pretty much just hold like the back of like his knee, like on the back of your neck, and you just like crush his like leg, I guess. So like I believe it's like a form of the. I see a little bit possible breakup of the New Day. I think I think it's a pause.
Yeah,
they're pausing it. I don't see New Day going away. Like I just don't. I think the three of them made their mark. Like Kofi Kingston was Kofi Kingston before, but I don't think any one of them could go to another gimmick and be accepted and to be like it was real. Like I just don't see people grabbing onto the gimmick and going like, yeah, like it's just New Day anymore.
Yeah.
But it was a good match. It was a good match. Then Lacey Evans versus Naomi. Naomi wins, which I'm really hoping Vince is starting to see something in her like they did before. But we all know how Vince will build somebody up for 3 weeks to a month and then just shoot them down.
But do you think it has anything to do with her race, with everything going on?
That's been a topic of I've seen people talk about that they do think that she's getting this because of that. I don't. I think that she is a great talent. She is
great talent. But I think she's being held back because one of those reasons is because of her race. I mean, Vince McMahon has never really built up any black superstar.
No, Kofi
Kofi was the first.
Mark
Henry, Bobby, but I'm talking like a really legitimate run, Booker kind of had that, but he didn't really have a legitimate run, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because even though he was King Booker with the title, he was still losing matches.
That is true. True.
When you're a champion, you're not to lose your everyday typical match.
That's very true. But and then
if you go back to the old promo where Triple H was like, people like you are not people like me. I mean,
yeah, I get it. Yeah, Vince is obviously very old, and it's been known. Not you can go look at any shoot interview. Vince is from what we know a racist.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What do you expect? Big E even said people of our skin color don't make it far in this industry.
Exactly.
And for your own person in your company to say that, you would think it would make Vince take a step back and look and go, wow. Because they have mad talent. They have incredible talent.
I'm gonna bring Big Court Dog back on.
Yeah, come on.
Because we're gonna talk about this one. If he's still there with us. But so my biggest problem is that you had Kofi, and Kofi had that great run with the title, but then he went against Brock and lost in 7 seconds?
Yeah, but
but it's Brock.
To be honest,
it's Brock. But you could at least make Kofi look like he was given somewhat of a fight.
It's at the end of the day, yes, you could make it look like that. But at the end of the day, this is Brock Lesnar we're talking about. We're not talking about him going in the ring with Drew McIntyre.
I understand.
Brock is supposed to be the beast. So if you put him in the ring with someone Kofi's size and let Kofi go toe-to-toe with him, it's going to look bad on Brock's gimmick.
Okay. How's it look bad on Brock's gimmick? Because if you go by Kofi's size to put him in a ring with Brock Lesnar, you got Daniel Bryan, who went toe-to-toe and it looked phenomenal. You had AJ Styles. It looked phenomenal. You had Finn Balor. It looked phenomenal.
Them three are phenomenal wrestlers. Are phenomenal.
Kofi is
Kofi's a phenomenal wrestler, but I'm sorry, not on their level. Not on their level. He is not on there. He is phenomenal and is definitely the way he does some of his like aerial stunts. I don't see anybody else in WWE doing that in history in the history. But at the same time, his skills, when we're gonna talk about his skills compared to AJ, Finn, and Daniel Bryan, that is a big gap in my opinion between their skills.
Yeah. So Big Court Dog is back. He's back for this big topic of ours. We were just discussing it. If you heard it, I feel that Vince McMahon, besides just the whole Excalibur thing at AEW, but I feel Vince McMahon does have a little bit of is a racist in him, that he does hold most of the black talent back from being very successful in the ring.
100%.
I don't know, man, because I feel like, so it's hard for me to think Vince has been a racist compared to like how many years he's been around, how many guys speak highly of him. Like, and again, when you look at it, like you spoke of Kofi, did he hold Kofi back or did Kofi hold himself back? Right? Like Kofi, he had it, but then, I mean, when it proved, like, do you really think he could beat Brock Lesnar one-on-one?
No, but you can at least make him look like he gave him a fight. I mean, you did it with those three other guys. You give him a fight.
Here's where we're going to see what's interesting, because they're going to push Big E, and now Big E should have the best title reign ever. And I'm loving how they're building it slowly and slowly. But let's see how Vince McMahon with Big E, because Big E can dominate anybody. So it's going to be interesting to see. But what
Big E said it himself. Big E said it himself of people of color don't get far in the WWE. He said it himself.
Yeah, I mean that's the state of America too. But we're gonna get on that in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? we ain't gonna talk about that. But I just feel like for you to say N-word on national television and then like they don't fire you or get rid of you, I mean that just says a lot about AEW. Like that's something I won't watch. Like if it was said, I'm boycotting.
It wasn't said live on air. It wasn't said nothing like that.
Nothing on air.
It was a video of the one announcer, the one commentating, saying it in like a previous thing of like years ago. But no matter what, he still said it.
I mean,
and he still needs to be reprimanded. And in my opinion, and he probably should not be back on air because of everything Tony Khan said about Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan supposedly only said it once. And we have Excalibur multiple times. So,
but you just said it was years ago. So, like for me, I feel like, dude, if they wanted to pull up dirt on anybody, I mean, hell, our president of the United States, there's dirt on him of years ago, and yet people don't care, right? So I feel like it's a hard topic to sit there and be like, oh, well, he should be fired because of some stuff he did years past. If you're not going to hold him accountable years past, I mean, you reprimand him, but to take his job away, I mean, I think that's pretty harsh. You know, like it's coming from me. Like, trust me, nobody gets more angry about it than me.
No one does. No one does. No one does.
Same time, I mean, stuff years ago. Yeah, he should be reprimanded, but the cancel culture and firing him, I think that's a little bit extreme.
It's the same thing for Hulk though too, which is weird because Hulk was the one who said it years ago, and Tony Khan is still like, I won't let him in my business. I won't even let his name be brought up on my show.
Linda, his ex-wife is not allowed on. His kids aren't allowed on. So like, and I mean, they had really nothing to do with it. Like it
was all Hulk.
It was all Hulk.
So if Tony Khan's going to say that to Hulk, you can't not keep that same energy with an employee just because he's your employee.
Oh yeah,
the same thing.
I get it, and like I don't know. I would have to see the context. I would have to see how it was said. I would have to see it. But I mean, for me, I just feel like the topic of like black WWE wrestlers. I mean, now that I think about it, it's like, isn't that fitting with society, right? Like black people are being held back in society, and you look at it like Rock got pushed that was because Rock got pushed because of his ability to just he really forced their hand and controlled it. And when we look back, like Booker T is another one I think of. Like he got pushed through. But after, if you look at it from 2005 on, how many black wrestlers really got pushed through? And really,
I don't think any black wrestler really got pushed through from 05 and on.
Shelton Benjamin is one of the greatest wrestlers physically. Like everybody speaks highly of him. He didn't get pushed through.
He got made of as a joke as JBL's like lackey. So that shows you exactly where Vince McMahon's mindset is.
Yeah.
That was years.
And that was years. And that way he was JBL's what? Like
his
butler,
servant almost.
his servant. So
it was just like a Virgil. It was like a New Day Virgil to $1 Million Man is how they kind of ran with it.
Right.
And so Vince has been doing that for years and years.
Yeah,
I mean, Virgil, Shelton Benjamin. It's sad, but I do think that MVP and what he has going on is great for the African Americans in wrestling right now.
Yes.
Because I think what I like to see younger guys in there with them, 100%, 1000%. I would love to see them bring younger guys because it's MVP, Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. Not knocking any of them, but none of them are young bucks.
No, I think Apollo Crews, another guy who he is so talented, and he's a Paul Heyman guy. Like Paul Heyman, like I feel like if Paul Heyman says like, "Hey, we really need to push this guy through,"
they won't.
They won't.
They won't because Paul Heyman said it.
Right, and
that's
so
the problem.
And then who's another? Like I'm trying to think of another black guy who should have we see the potential.
Keith
Lee, but I see it, and with him, I can see him becoming an NXT guy who, like Finn Balor, where he helps build WWE guys and he builds them and creates.
Yeah.
I just with Vince, man, it's hard for me to believe. Like, but again, he's older. He's the same age as all those older guys with the older mentality. So I don't know if it's a racism thing, but it's probably like a prejudicial thing, because
I think it's if I call Vince racist, that's kind of harsh to call him. I think he's racially insensitive.
Yes. No,
I don't
absolutely.
I think that's what he is racially insensitive. He just doesn't really think of it. He just runs with it.
Yeah, because like you said, I feel like when it comes to that, it's like And no, think about it, like racism, right? Like what is racism? And then you start to talk about it, like it's like when you're in a position of power and you stop another race from getting to your level. You know what I mean? And so man, like racially stupid, whatever you want to call them.
And as much as I like Triple H, I think he's also racially insensitive as well. Because he's held a lot of and I'm not just talking white talent. He's had a lot of black talent back. And same with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels did the same thing. So I think like we're getting like a lot of these older guys that are in the business. I think a lot of them are racially insensitive and just I don't think they want to see like honestly, I don't think they want to see like a black dominant wrestling promotion. They just don't want to see it. I mean,
man, that's hard. That's hard for me to think, man, because like you just sit there and I remember looking and I'm like, I never thought of MVP as the man. Like I'd never seen a talent level of a Big E, of a Keith Lee in the WWE, for them to be held back. Because like Mark Henry, I think he had a pretty successful career. Like, did he get knocked back? I don't know. Like Booker
I think he got knocked back because of the stupid gimmicks they would give him. Like all these gimmicks they would give him.
Sexual chocolate.
Well, he came up with that, but
that was actually golden.
That was golden. But like some of the gimmicks that they had him do,
get that out your mouth. Got a rubber bag.
The matches they had him lose to was just ridiculous.
Didn't he like?
But here's the thing. The only reason why I kind of don't think about Mark Henry and him is because in that era, right? Like we think about the Attitude Era and then we think about Ruthless Aggression era. I feel like it was like one of those get in where you fit in. Like even Kane, like we think about Kane. Kane was a dentist, and it was the worst ever. And if it wasn't for Undertaker to try to come up with Kane and turn Kane to, which by the way, Kane is the greatest character of WWE from start to finish about how they brought it on. That dude is just like, I mean, Kane.
You can't. You're gonna put that over Taker though.
I put it over Taker because Kane's whole, like, Kane and Taker are one. You know, so nah, I probably don't put it over. Nah,
you can't put it over Taker. Taker kept that gimmick from the point of like,
the
Dark Ministry to Undertaker to Taker,
Hey,
the biker,
Danny.
back to Marcello. Like you can't put like
Bird
Taker's.
to a hand.
No one could go
Hey,
for Taker.
Danny, I remember that. Mark Henry was the father.
Yeah,
I believe he was. Was Mark Henry the father?
I remember that. I remember that. Yes, he was the father. He was the father to the hand. Mae Young
remember that.
was like 80 something years old and gave birth to hand, and Mark Henry is the father.
That
it was great.
That was gold. Like that was funny, dude. That was good.
But if you go back into the racial part of it, I think the Attitude Era, you look at Nation of Domination, that was probably the best faction, one of the best factions during the Attitude Era, because it came right after like the Rodney King beatings and police and that whole. And if you listen to some of their messages, that really struck home. So I think like Nation of Domination really was making a big statement, and then it just broke apart.
Did you see that they were trying to do a new Nation of Domination with MVP in them? And they wanted Simmons to come back as like just a manager, and he's not doing it right now. So it's on hold, but they still want to do it.
I like the Hurt Business. I like it.
Yeah, I really
Different name.
And I think if you got Apollo Crews, but I think the key piece is you need Apollo Crews. You know, like you need Apollo Crews, Bobby Lashley. If you want Big E, like, oh my goodness,
take Big E. Listen, you get Big E in there.
If you imagine if they make like an Evolution, but with like Bobby Lashley, MVP, who's the older. Bobby Lashley could be Batista, or no, he could be Triple H, right? He's the older guy. MVP could be Ric Flair because he's super old. Just whatever. And then you got like Keith Lee and Apollo Crews as the Batista and Randy Orton. That would just be so foul.
I mean, I would like to see it maybe with like having the Hurt Business as in maybe more than 4 guys. And I know we're talking a little NWO shit here, but I mean, if you have the Hurt Business on Raw and SmackDown, okay, you carry it over. So you have like the New Day is now part of the Hurt Business. You know, you have.
I can't see that.
New
Day, you would have. I mean, dude, that would the turn.
There's
of
enough.
New Day would
there's
have
enough. There's enough. There's enough factions that you can turn New Day back into a heel to put them on the Hurt Business squad.
But I don't know
what factions are there today.
I just don't think
you bring up Roderick Strong and all of them. You bring up guys from NXT. I'm telling you.
I don't know if you could turn New Day into a heel, man. They've done so much, and like people just and again, in prime example, how can we say Vince McMahon has let black people not push them through in a New Day? The Usos. I mean, like, I don't know, man.
The New Day, I feel like, was made fun of for like the first 3 years that they were.
They were a joke.
They recently just. I mean, after like probably like Bootios is when they started to get like a little bit of hype.
New Day has been running for maybe 3-4 years.
No, New Day's been running for maybe like 8.
Yeah, they've been around for like.
And they've been the guys for the last 4 years.
Yeah, they've been the guys for the last 3-4 years, but for the first 2 or 3 years, Vince did nothing but make fun of them as a group.
Yeah, but think about how many people get like, oh no, this is a joke. This is a joke. And then it pops. Like, again, I feel like it's for, I don't know, man. It's like, you want some ice cream? I want some.
I want some ice cream too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. They can't do a new nation of domination in this current climate unless they were a babyface stable who never lost. Otherwise, no, honestly. So I think I highly disagree with that for the simple fact.
Yeah, I
If you
disagree with that.
Yeah.
angry, it's the perfect way for them to be a heel.
You have to make them angry.
We're going to attack everybody
Right.
because Black Lives Matter. And
Thank you. Right there.
Exactly. Because I've had this talk with my father-in-law, and he believes that if they are a heel, it's going to look bad on what's going on right now. And I think, on the other hand, it would do the complete opposite. It would be like, wow, even WWE believes Black Lives Matter.
I mean,
think then it would
New Day. You look at New Day when they came out, they actually took a knee and a fist up in the air.
Yes, after all that happened.
And
so
they didn't get in trouble. They didn't get in trouble. So it'd be perfect if you made them a heel, a new nation of domination, where they came out angry and took out everybody. Because listen, they would be a heel that is liked. It'd be a CM Punk heel. That's what they would be. That's what you're getting into. You're getting into a heel that people like love to hate.
Yes and no. I kind of understand where Danny is coming from, because I do feel like there would be a group of people that are like, the media is already trying to make, African Americans look like they are, angrier and violent. So maybe this would not be the best, but in my opinion, I think it would be great. I think it would be a breath of fresh air for WWE.
Absolutely.
To have them even think about this, have all titles, maybe not all of them, but a good bit of them in the group. And it shows that African Americans aren't just there in WWE, they're there to stay and make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what I think it is. I think that MVP needs to talk to Vince or whatever and say, listen, let me take this on all shows. No, not just Raw and SmackDown.
Let me do it on all
NXT. Shows. Let me take this to all shows and let me get all of the African Americans I feel would fit in this group, and let me run these shows. Not completely run, but let me handle this for a little bit.
Yeah, I am. Click. Yeah. Click it and come on, man, because I need to hear it. I actually need to hear why he doesn't think so. But
send him a link.
Yeah, I sent you a link, man. Just click on it and come right on. The biggest thing is if you do that, if Vince does that, which I think would be a great idea, you have the Hurt Business in NXT. You have the Hurt. It would turn into a what do you want to call it? What stable is that? That's out there now. This.
What?
Finn Balor's part of it. You'd have like a Bullet Club type situation. You'd have a Bullet type situation because Bullet Club was all over in different promotions. ROH had the Bullet Club because Cody Rhodes was part of it, and New Japan.
But I do feel like that killed it in a way.
No, because the Bullet Club
The
Bullet Club is still popular. They're still very, very popular.
Still very popular. They are. But when you have it, I felt like it was an NWO type of thing. When now just everybody is a part of Bullet Club in everything. Not WWE, but in mostly every other thing, there was a Bullet Club. And I just felt like it was starting to get watered down a little bit. When it was like an NWO when there's, at one time NWO had what? The whole locker room? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to see. I don't want to see it where it's like, oh, everyone's a part of this, or I want a faction to be there for to either go up against other ones or whatever.
Right. I got Danny. Danny, what's up, man?
What's up, bro?
Hello. I've been wanting to speak to you guys for a minute now. I just got off work. I work at PF here in Florida, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, but you're saying you can't do a new nation of domination in today's world. I think it would be perfect timing with everything.
I think that while yes, I do believe it's perfect timing, I don't trust WWE to book it in with the subtlety required. I think that, and that's another thing. Like, I understand where you're coming from as far as like, you know, present them as aggressive, but at the same time, the media already wants to portray the whole Black Lives Matter movement as aggressive to begin with, and that's why like people are calling them riots as opposed to protests. That's why you know, you have a bunch of people in Portland getting abducted by secret police or whatever. You know, so like I think that not to get too political, almost off the deep end there. But I think that, you know, while I do believe that, you know, Black lives and representation should definitely be relevant in all sources of media.
Right.
I think that stable. Look at Daniel Bryan, right? Daniel Bryan, when he went on his heel run last year, was, you know, talking about how the planet needs to change, the planet's dying, the planet, you know, everything needs to change, and I'm the planet. But he spun it in a way that I'm the planet's champion, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And I think that, but he used that to portray a heel character, and I'm thinking to myself, like, shouldn't we be making these changes anyway? Like, why is this being portrayed as like a bad thing? Like taking care of yourselves, you know, taking care of your health, and not eating, like, not indulging in like a bunch of like garbage food, like the AJ Styles thing. You know, saving your money when it counts.
I get what you're saying, and the only thing I had problems with Daniel Bryan with his gimmick, I mean, I got everything, but at the same time, it became annoying.
He was very judgmental, which
it was
made
like
judgmental to hate him.
Yeah, which he almost went on a CM Punk route. Again, CM Punk's name being brought up in this conversation because CM Punk did that whole. He's a straight edge. He is straight edge. He is drugs, no smoke, no alcohol, and all that stuff. But even Punk at that time, when he was doing the whole straight edge society, became very annoying, even though he was speaking truth that we shouldn't do drugs, alcohol, and smoke. But it became
we want to, yeah. But again, it goes back on the fact of like why we want to present like a judgmental or negative image for the Black Lives Matter movement. It needs to be handled with respect, is all I'm saying, and deftness.
Yeah, and I think if you write the storyline right with this, with like the Hurt Business, and you write the storyline right, like Lucha's saying, let MVP go ahead and go in the different brands and pick out the guys he wants, and those brands have those guys. If you write the storyline right, all they're doing is saying we want better for African Americans in the business. That's all they're saying. If you know. And we're going to show you because when we get in the ring, we're dominant.
We're the best of the best, and
we're the best. We're the best of the best, and that's why we should.
And if you're not going to take us serious, we're going to show you why you should take us serious.
Right.
And that's when it comes in.
And it's not being violent. It's not being violent. It's more of, you know, going, hey, we want better. Because I mean, if you look at
I like the idea of possibly bringing in Booker T as like a nod or like a clapback and a subtle acknowledgement of WrestleMania 19 and how it took 20 seconds for Triple H to pin Booker T at WrestleMania 19 after saying, quote unquote, I'm not going to say because it's awful, but after a super not okay thing to bring him into the Hurt Business as another recruiter. And maybe like a guest appearance for like NXT, where like he just starts recruiting NXT guys, and then it's a multi-brand thing, considering that NXT now is considered a third brand as opposed to a developmental territory.
Right. Yeah, and I get it. I would love to see Booker T in it, but I also like to see Ron Simmons in it. Ron Simmons is probably was the best person that ran that Nation of Domination. Yeah. He ran it perfectly. He got the point across, and Ron Simmons' voice is heard in that back there. I mean,
Yeah.
he was the first black world champion.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you bring him in and have him recruit these guys, have him polish these guys up on their their promotions and their delivery on top of MVP's delivery, because MVP, whether people like it, people think so or not, MVP is very good at promo work. He's very good on the mic. So you have a guy like Ron Simmons who can be good on the mic. MVP is good on the mic, and you got all these young black athletes following them. I mean, now you created something even better, because if you look at Naomi, who's being held back, and I think Naomi shouldn't be held back. I think it's also because of race, but at the same time,
I also think Naomi should be a part of it. This should not just be a man thing.
It should be a
bring
woman
Naomi
thing.
in and say, "Listen, are you tired of getting overlooked? Are you? Well, come join us, and it won't happen anymore, and we'll make sure of it."
Right.
And that should happen. Naomi should join it. Apollo, and bring back an old head like Booker, like Danny said, or I would very much like to see Ron more than anyone, because of the fact that he was in the first Nation of Domination.
Bring back Mark Henry. Bring Mark Henry into it. Mark Henry is very passionate about it.
Yeah, I would actually. Mark Henry would be a really good fit. Maybe not for like an in-ring person, but a manager for them. That would be perfect. Because when it first started, I thought that's what MVP was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, he was supposed to be like the guy who just recruits the other ones. But it didn't end up being that way, and he ended up getting a title and still wrestling. I think that's a little too much. I don't want to see MVP wrestle anymore. I'm sorry. I don't mind if he talks. Like Sean said, he's good on.
No, yeah, I agree with you, Lucius. He's like, I remember, and like him and doesn't go back to New Japan. They were in the G1 together, and like they had a stable together in New Japan. And from what I understand, their work in that regard was passable for New Japan. But currently, I know he trains in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Much love to that. He keeps athletic, but at the same time, he cannot go the same way that he used to. Man, it is rough sometimes staying there.
Yeah, and I think maybe he could even take a step back and from the group and not be a wrestler, even if it says like him having a match with Apollo. Right, perfect way is to have a match with Apollo for the U.S. title, and kind of do like a. Not just like Hogan and Nash, but something similar where the match really doesn't happen and like Apollo pretty much just like touches him and wins the title because he's taking a step back. I want to run this group. I don't want to wrestle in it. I want to manage you guys and make sure you guys are the gold pieces that you guys could be. Let me carve you out and make sure that you are the gem that you really are and could be. And that's what I think he should do.
Yeah. And my other what I'm looking at too is, I mean, there's so much else going on in wrestling. I mean, with all different this whole like one thing, Alexa Bliss and possibly becoming Sister Abigail. I think it would be perfect if she's Sister Abigail.
Yeah. Her gimmick starting to run a little dry for me.
I don't know. Danny's giving me a little look like, I don't know.
I mean, Alexa Bliss on TV in any way, I think, is going to be good. So
I want her just to go back into singles. She's such a great singles wrestler and a great established heel. I just want her to go back into that. And I get that the long burn story, as long burn as it can get for WWE, storytelling with her and her breakup with Nikki Cross. I get that. The thing is, we already had, and I understand why they did this. It's because of the mixed match challenge. But for the mixed match challenge to not get acknowledged to the point that it involves in a storyline on the main roster for 2 years now, and then all of a sudden it just pops up in the in what I've been hearing as the empty arena era because they're using NXT talents. To just kind of pop up as like a story. Look, Alexa, like you remember their history? You remember how Braun wanted to kiss Alexa? Yeah, I don't. I'm not the biggest fan of her becoming Sister Abigail, just because also like the Eater Worlds character, like when the Fiend came out, and when like the Firefly Funhouse thing started, I at first was like skeptical, but then I fell in love with it, and like you can't change that. Like that debut against him and Finn Balor, Finn Balor in like drenched in like the white with the white trunks and the white jacket coming out, and then it just goes all black. And like you just see like this creepy, like necrotic figure coming from the tunnel, holding his own head in his hand. Like you can't replace that magic. And yet for some reason they wanted to, go back and be like, oh hey, remember the Eater Worlds? I chainsaw him in the Firefly Funhouse. We'd hope you forget that. And then, on top of that, Alexa Bliss becoming Sister Abigail. Like I remember they wanted Liv Morgan originally, but then they went a different route with Liv Morgan. And personally, I think Liv Morgan would have been a little bit better.
Liv Morgan would have been a lot better with the Sister Abigail than because Liv Morgan had that Harley.
Luch is doing me. He's like,
but Liv Morgan had that Harley Quinn thing going on. So like
so dumb. That was stupid.
But it worked for her. It worked. Like she does have that Harley Quinn in her, but now she does have that dark side in her. Alexa does too.
Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross. No, because Nikki Cross isn't. No, because
how?
Like on top of that, like Nikki Cross. Sorry, I got a text. Yeah, Nikki Cross. I think that it's just an issue of like tone. She has a very, very thick Scottish accent, like extremely thick. It's not like a thing that's like escapable or anything like that. Like I've seen her and like met her in person, and she just no. It's very. It comes across even in her like common vernacular as opposed to her wrestling like persona. It's very thick. Mm-hmm. So I think that in general, I think Vince or creative saw that and was just like, maybe not her.
Yeah, but the only person I could see other than her would be Scarlett, which is with Cross, which supposedly I read today that is kind of what they're going for in a way. They're going for what is it, Fiend and Bliss with versus Cross and the other thing. That's kind of like from what I heard and read today is what they're gonna go for. And to be honest, if you're going to put the Fiend versus Cross, you take my money. And if Scarlett's there and Bliss is there,
take my money. Take my money.
Double because I'm willing to see that. I think it would be a hell of a match. And
Scarlett can wrestle.
Oh yeah, Scarlett's good. Yeah.
She started out in Impact. She started out in Impact, so she can wrestle.
Oh yeah.
Killer Cross's Karrion Kross, I should say. Karrion Kross is Ghosted Grandma, as Reddit Squared Circle has been putting it.
I think he's been dominant. I like I love the gimmick. Any dark character, I'm with it. I love it. I love the darkness of
but I'm just hoping they don't get too dark with everything.
Yeah,
like you have Braun, who's not really that dark, but now you have the Fiend, Karrion Kross.
That's really all you have, though. You only have Fiend and Cross that are like the Monday Night Messiah.
And the Monday Night Messiah. So,
but that's about it.
Yeah,
that's about
it. I hate Seth Rollins' new character.
But at this time, there is so much more to talk about on our next show, man. We'll definitely bring you back on, Danny. It was a pleasure having you on.
Appreciate
it.
Yeah. But we're gonna let you go, man. I'm gonna close the show out. You have a good one, Danny. We look forward to all your comments, man.
Definitely.
that was Danny. He's one of our main guys who just constantly follows us. Is a constant supporter for our show. So one of our number one guys for our show. But I mean, there's so much more to talk about next week, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, SummerSlam possibly taking place on a cruise line ship, a boat. So somebody's going to get choke slammed into the
I heard a submarine.
Yeah.
I heard a beach. Whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna do.
They're gonna do it.
Entertaining. It is SummerSlam, one of the 3 biggest pay-per-views of the year.
Yeah.
So they have to make it good.
I just hope they don't do too many somatic matches. I hope they only keep it to like one
cinematic match.
One somatic match would be great. I think with honestly with Randy Orton versus Drew, I don't think Drew's going to drop the belt. I think Edge is going to come out and ruin that for him. I think that's when Edge makes his kind of a return to distract Randy to get them hyped up for the next big pay-per-view.
Maybe. From what I heard, they're trying to take that to Mania. They're going to stretch that to Mania. From what I'm reading.
Who, Orton and Drew?
Orton and Edge.
Edge. Yeah,
I think they want to stretch that till Mania.
I think they'll stretch it till Mania. I mean, I don't want to see Randy champion going into Mania and Edge having a title shot. I don't like that idea.
No, and to be honest, I don't think Legend Killer Randy should be champion, in my opinion. Yeah. Because then then you're really not the Legend Killer, because you're killing normal people week in and week out or at pay-per-views. You're not defeating legends. So
right,
you kind of kill his character at the same time doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you do make him champion, I mean,
it's never the worst thing to do.
It's not the worst thing. He deserves it. This is the best he's ever been. This is probably the best he's ever been in the past 5 years.
Okay, past 5, yeah.
Past 5 years,
ever been.
Not ever been, but the past 5 years is the best he's ever been in the past 5 years.
This is the best mic work, Randy, I've seen in the past
absolutely
few years. Because before the Legend Killer thing came back, boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He was going on Triple H borderline there. He was like Triple H almost. Dragging it. Now, man, that Monday night one, dude, that gave me chills.
Yeah.
It gave me goosebumps.
That was good. And like I said, when you go from Randy cutting that promo, then they had Nia Jax come out to cut like the female version of the same promo.
Yeah.
Was not good. There's not a good idea.
No.
In my opinion, to start a wrestling company without a match is wrong for business. But
right.
That's a whole different situation.
We'll leave that for next week. We'll ask him. I'll definitely ask. Who do we have next week coming on for our interview next week?
Next week we got Jeremy Goldman.
Jeremy Goldman, and he is a wrestler.
He's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler. Okay, so Jeremy Goldman, from which promotion is he going to be coming from?
He's somewhere in Ohio, and like he wrestles in a lot of places.
So Jeremy Goldman from one of the Ohio wrestling promotions will be with us next week. We'll be interviewing him. I'm going to actually ask him if he watches WWE, if he watches the product now, and get his take on it, because I would love to know his take. Any of these guys' take on it, on the business today. I think the business has changed so much. So, unfortunately, folks, we couldn't have our guest today, but we definitely did have two good guests on. Big Court Dog, our co-owner of Loudmouth Sports Talk, and Danny Navarro, one of our big followers here for Loudmouth Off the Top Rope. But make sure, folks, bombshellbowling.com/Loudmouth Sports Talks for your official Loudmouth Sports Talk t-shirts, muscle tees, and you just heard Monday, August 17th, I believe that was, we're taking pre-orders for our hoodies, $45.
40 for small to
40 40 for small to
XL, and I
to-
believe double
to
and
X-
up is 45.
40 to double XL, from small to double XL, and then anything after that is $45. So, but $20 for these shirts, folks. I mean, Miss Michelle's great. She's
Definitely.
best thing we got going on right now. So from me and Luch, you have watched Loudmouth Off the Top Rope, coming up from Loudmouth Sports Group, Loudmouth Sports Talk. We'll see you here next week at 6 p.m.